The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host. Once more into the breach we go, dear friends. And of course, we've got a market that's kind of up out here, kind of very interesting movement in the markets over the last couple of days. Of course, I was out Thursday and Friday. Had a little problem with my knee. Just getting off of it for a few days was all I needed to do, but rather painful. Just sitting. Anytime I moved, if I didn't have it straight, it was rather painful. I just decided to sit out the show Thursday and Friday, but I was paying attention in the Barco Lounger. As we start off the day, up 26 points on the S&P cash, 2.4 billion shares. So it's a little, much lighter than last week or so for the start of a show. So we'll see how that continues on. Of course, options expiration was on Friday, so rollover normally takes a couple of days. If today is up, then generally tomorrow is down. Wednesday is the day where we start really seeing the action in the market, if you wanted a textbook example of it. But it's kind of tough to see a great deal more to the upside. But certainly we have a bunch of data that is fairly reasonable, or let me put it this way. I have a high confidence in that it is true that does not jive with this market, and we'll talk about it here in a minute. In the meantime, we always meet here between 2 and 3 p.m.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
It does every day. Let's get to our history.
And it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
On this day in 1946, George Kennan, the American charge d'affaires of Moscow, sends an 8,000-word telegram to the Department of State detailing his views on the Soviet Union and the U.S. policy toward communist state. Kennan's analysis provided one of the most influential underpinnings of the America's Cold War policy of containment. Most people say that the Cold War started on this day in 1946. We had a president that was kind of in and out of it. Of course, he just recently croaked. And he loved the communists. He thought that that was all just good and well. Wouldn't listen to anybody say just how evil Stalin was. Of course, in a war where 70 million ended up dead, 20 million of those were in the Soviet Union. 18 million of those were people that Stalin killed that are his own citizens. You just had somebody in a President Roosevelt that would not see the evil of communism and socialism, and led into the Cold War. Of course, most people did not know at the time. It took us about 1948 to 1949 to really get a great spy program into Russia, of course, after they looted all our nuclear secrets. But kind of a very interesting time. But I see kind of that not between us and Russia, although they're yelling at us. The truth of the matter is it becomes very problematic for them to do anything like they would have. But we do see over the weekend more submarines going in over there in the Pacific Rim. It looks like China is making and starting to get designs on islands on the edge of India. India and China going at it in a war of words. You've got, of course, China making artificial islands and trying to claim them in the name of Spain, actually China. But you could just about now. Here's one scenario. I don't know exactly how it's going to work out, but right now you can pretty much walk across the ocean between Taiwan and China and Russia and India. All of those guys, they may have a combination of 100 submarines. Everybody's got a submarine. Israel has 6 submarines. They've got those all over the Mediterranean. There is just enough subs. Eventually, a few of these people are going to get and ram into each other and cause an international incident. Whether that goes hot or not is, I'd say, probably about 80% probability. But as you're watching and playing playing stocks, I just would not want to be in China stocks right now. There's just 100 things that could go wrong, and maybe one that could go right over there. But between the Russians and the Chinese fighting over for the Spratly Islands, you've got all these new islands, and of course, China thinking maybe they can just reach over there and steal Taiwan. Of course, Taiwan has been backed by us. They don't have enough actual ships to transport enough people over there to actually occupy it. But they certainly have the ability to put some pressure on India, and India acting rightly incensed over the moves China's made over the last few days in the Indian Ocean. But it's all about whether it's 1946 in Russia, the Soviet Union, or today China really trying to expand its sphere of influence and thinking that we won't do anything about it. Well, on this day, President Truman actually decided that there may be a problem. And Roosevelt's policy of ignoring it and hoping it went away went by the wayside. Today in 1946. Options. We were talking about data. There's 2 data sets over the last few days that I think are probably the most important for traders. That is first options. Options over from Wednesday morning to Friday's close went from about a 35% probability of the S&P 500 touching the 1600 level before options expire in December to 50%. So a pretty huge move over those 2 days, implying that the big street names want some massive downside protection. 1600 gives you a pretty good indication at least where the street thinks the market is going. Also, the data that came out of Trim Tabs and a couple others that corroborated it show that there was about an $8 billion drawdown from funds last week, even when the market was headed up. Kind of a paradox that the market went higher, but people were actually getting out of their stocks at the same time. We'll talk more about this when we come back. Got a question about Apple in the den. Talk more about that we talked about it, but nothing new.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And we're back. Question in the den is, how do you actually figure that 1600 is out there? Just in an implied options calculation. I'll find something and try to post it later if I don't speak about it. But you can go back and look at the bets. But it's not any different than horse racing. If you go back and look at pari-mutuel betting out there, you can see the odds literally come up in horse racing, and it is no different. But I'll try to find something, a link that explains implied options targets out there. What else do we have out there? John Regas was let out of jail over the weekend. A lot of people all know about Enron, especially, a lot more stuff written and talked about for it, or some of the other big frauds around 2000. He had a company called Adelphia, which at the time was the 5th largest U.S. cable operator, before it blew up in 2002. Well, it was a total fraud. But he's getting out today. He's going to be dead in 6 months anyway, so the judge let him out. He was serving a 12-year sentence that I think began in 2005 or 6. So I think he had like 3 or 4 more years to go. So they commuted the sentence, let him go. He's going to die of cancer, of many things. I think it spread to his lungs, everywhere else. He was walking around rather chipper this morning, enjoying the last 6 months of his life. But a lot of people focus on Enron and forget there were many more of these frauds out around the 2000 area. Sometimes they were total smoke and mirror like the dot-coms. Sometimes they were total frauds like Adelphia. But he was let out today. It is a mad market, and we will start looking at charts. today, as soon as I get my charts going on up here. Now, probably the most important thing to me is the in Amazon today. Amazon made a pretty decent signal that it had broken through the good support level that ran the confluence level that ran from 539 to 544.76, and it's I don't know how you can say it other than when it broke through there, I was pretty sure we were headed much lower. That now that it's closed back above it, or will probably close back above it, this thing has about 3 days to say that this wasn't another bounce. You've basically gotten a little bit more than a 50% bounce off that last leg that was January 28th to February 9th. But 556.03 would have been the 50% retracement. Volume not all that exciting so far yet today. Energy is fairly decent off the lows, but this goes back to a great deal of the divergence we have in the data coming out. We have huge fund outflows. We have a market headed higher, and for the most part, it is a few very basic stocks, just like before everything fell off, the wheels fell off the wagon before at the beginning of the year. So the question is, what do you think this should be saying to you? Volume's not all that exciting today. It is the first day of options rollover. Typically, today would be an up day. Tomorrow would be a down day, and then Wednesday is going to tell us truly what happens. But you need the kind of the market to get up a bit and then go down a bit for options. So about 80% of the time, you should look for a lower trading day tomorrow, and then Wednesday, the proof of the pudding once everybody's out. In fact, most times options rollover is over by about 2 p.m. on Tuesday. This is going to be kind of important because this will take us through most of the new options that are going to be put on through May. So we're going to get a much better idea of the strength of the market in the next couple of days. Seeing some stocks go up on no volume, some stocks not even being able to come off the bottom, and then a handful of stocks that can go higher. But at the moment, it's just a lot of flailing around for a great deal of these stocks, being pushed up, running stops that people have, and then these pulling right back in to trading ranges that are lower. But we'll take another look at some stuff. Have a question in the den, so we'll look at Apple real quick. The question in the den is turn that off. Question in the den on Apple is whether or not any of this stuff is true. I wrote about it at length in the Tech Insider, but I think you can probably make a fairly accurate, broad-brushed comment that the FBI is lying. My belief, although I can't prove it, because we'd have to drag these folks in, and the FBI has been more than willing to lie in a court of law how they get data and come up with alternate theories that they can spout off in court and lie about it. It's been fairly well proved. They've lied a great deal about how they get cell phone data and whether or not it's legal or not. Pretty much the judges in most of the cases have decided it's not. But of course, how many of these cases did they lie and say that they got this data another way other than hijacking the cell towers of everybody to go? And that's been kind of a no-no for a long time. It's called a dragnet. So anyway, I know that the FBI is more than willing to lie to cover its sources and methods, and they've done it in the past. They think it's okay. But my guess is that this phone a long time ago, probably within a couple of days, was cracked by the NSA. And whatever data the FBI has gotten from the NSA, they can't say anything about it. And now they got this phone that's cracked, and they need it to be cracked yet another way so that they can say that's where they got the data. So it's one of these things where once you get into this, either the NSA or the FBI, you can almost make a bet that all of them are lying. It's part of disinformation. If you ever read about it, it's called Sources and Methods for the FBI. They never want to leak the way that their methods come out, and they're more than willing, especially in public, to lie about it. They think it's for the greater good, and there's nothing new to it. But there is no doubt in my mind that if they gave the NSA that phone, or gave it to somebody in the NSA, that they would have that data within about 30 minutes. And there's a bunch of ways to do it. I wrote about it in the Tech Insider on Friday. If you know much about Supreme Court cases or higher court cases, normally what these folks will do is wait until they have a case that really screams that they will win. And whether it's Brown versus Board of Education or abortion rights or any other thing, normally whoever's the proponent of that wants a law struck down or upheld will try to get at that particular case driven to the courts, and that's exactly what the FBI is doing. They think there's no way that Apple can win, trying to justify showing or helping terrorists. We'll be back in a minute.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Directions Daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we're back. The FTSE was up 1.5%, which is pretty interesting considering how bad the sterling was hammered, about 2% today on the comments from the mayor of London, who says that he wants to exit the EU. I think it's probably a pretty smart idea, probably some short-term pain, but long-term good. And of course, they're more than happy to get their currency down a little bit, although it affected our dollar quite a bit today, up 79 cents on the dollar index, back in the 97s. But market seems to not even think about that as long as crude is going higher. And I just think we're just going to fool around here in crude for a little while until all of that surplus comes up. Starting to see gas in the 150s down here in Tampa. I saw 158 over the weekend. So I don't know what else that tells you. It's going to get cheaper and cheaper as supply continues to be high. We're trading out at 1942 on the S&P cash, which is up 25 points. Volume has gotten fairly tepid after about 12:30. 2.56 billion shares on the New York Consolidated tape. And we're going to go back through some of the other stocks that have been moving today. BBD up 4% today. Banco Brasileiro, the Bank of Braziers? Don't know. Anyway, it popped a little. Brazilian banks will keep adapting to preserve earnings, but expect pressure to remain on the banks through the second half of 2017. So basically, they're saying they're not going out of business tomorrow, and maybe a few months from now. And that was enough to pop at least the Brazilian banks for today. CSX was up a little bit when we look at that, another upgrade, although that doesn't do a lot. When we get into CSX, it's got kind of a confluence level at about $27.69 to $27. So this could get back up here. A little wide. I like them, maybe a dime or 15 cents on stock, about that price. A little bit more of a congestion zone. But I think if you were looking at some of these to short, you'd probably want to see the confidence zone hit. Pretty good energy off the bottom and pretty good energy out here today, though. Barron's is out on another stock. It didn't seem to do that much for it, but a little bit of a bounce on a day like this outside the norm. CYF, right? CYF. Okay, there we go. CYF. Come on. There we go. Synchronicity Financial. Don't know a lot about this. Probably need to look at it. Energy actually fairly weak on this one. It gapped up over its congestion zone, which we'll call this. Let me zoom in a little bit closer out here. It's in its congestion zone out here, which is about everything you could get. That we're getting all these upgrades today makes me think that they think that this is getting toward the end of it, and they're going like in a horse race to the whip. On the downside, Perrigo Company in the generic pharmacy business downgraded, and it's off about 5%. Doesn't look like it's really gotten much out here today. This should be fairly close to extending this ABC down. Let's take a quick look at that on that expansion and see. Do we have one for 190? There we do, 190, 140. This would have its 1-to-1 come in at 120.38. So you got about another $2 down to get the 1-to-1 projection. You've got a 125.37 low on May 8th of 2014 too. Let's go out just a little farther on this and see. Yeah, you've got, yeah, I'm going to say that 120. You didn't have quite as much volume as you would like to see. Let's see if there's anything else out there. You're probably getting pretty close to a bottom. That 115.94 from August 28th, 2013 looks like the most likely candidate. for this to go out and hit to make at least a interim low, finish its ABC, and that is it. HSBC. Of course, these things continue to be problematic. Let me get back up here just to make sure. Retail banking, of course, and wealth management. I was trying to see if this thing had a percentage of which one is which. Private banking, investment man, it doesn't say it. It's 100 offices. But down, this was earnings. It's down a little bit when you look at it, but it's, you've got the low out here at $30.39. My guess is you're probably going to come back out and test that fairly quickly. Earnings per share was 65 cents. Adjusted revenue was up just 1%, and it was down about $500 million in revenues. So I don't know if you can say anything out here that makes HSBC look any better, or say that at least it's not going to come test the lows of February 11th fairly quickly out here. Let's see what else we have going on here. In mid caps, WCG. You can give me a call, by the way, at 877-927-6648. Up 10% today. It's just another upgrade. A lot of times, of course, if they find shorts out here, they can get them. Now, this actually went into the heavy volume gap down of the fourth, and if I would have been watching this thing earlier this morning, as I don't know why I wasn't, but that would have been a pretty easy short to pull at $92. That's up against the previous resistance of October 20th, and then again October 29th. And volume, why it's fairly good out here, my guess is we're starting to see some of these short squeezes on these upgrades really come in. Groupon, I won't even bother talking on it. Let's look at Alibaba real quick, who keeps on acting like maybe it would buy them. I don't know if they're buying them or just doing a favor for a friend on Wall Street by talking about it. But they had acquired 33 million shares of the stinky company known as Groupon. Up a little bit, not a lot of juice out here. I don't know what they get with Groupon other than a foothold here in the United States. Are they really just going to turn that into an Alibaba affiliate? I don't know. This doesn't seem to make a lot of sense to me yet. Maybe they can explain it. When we come back, we'll look at Fit, up a couple of percent.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you like it does me, visit everbank.com/TFNN to find out what they can do for you. Again, that's everbank.com/TFNN. Visit them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
TFNN is excited to offer a brand new piece of market scanning software unlike anything the industry has ever seen. John Logan and his team have spent years developing their market profile tools to finally be able to release the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. And right now you can get a 2-week trial absolutely free just by visiting TFNN.com and providing us your name and email address. The TAS Profile Scanner Plus is the premier market profile based scanner in the industry. Powered by the acclaimed TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner is a standalone desktop software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Within 3 minutes of signing up, you can have the software downloaded and running on your computer with a complete roadmap of market indicators and inflection points to trade off using the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. Sign up today and try this amazing piece of software by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
Yeah, just kind of a side note, somebody that in bringing back up sources and methods. Kind of interesting because the company that bought the company that I work for and went public was Harris. Harris is a big manufacturer of government boxes, and one of the things that they made was a thing called a Stingray. And the Stingray would basically take over a cell site, and while you may think that you were talking to your uncle or niece or brother, sister, or wife through the local Verizon tower or any carrier tower, you're actually going through their system, and they were able to listen to any conversation that went across it. That thing was called Stingray, and they made or Harris made all the company, all the law enforcement officials sign a letters that said that they would never divulge that this equipment actually even existed in a court of law. They had to come up with some alternate theory on the way that they got this data, and therefore lied. There was a gentleman that went to jail, I think, just about 2012, and he wasn't exactly sure how the FBI had caught him. He had been incredibly good at avoiding them for a number of years, and this is not an innocent guy. I mean, he even said that he pretty much did everything they accused him of. But he got out in 2014. As soon as he was thrown into jail, he started filing motion after motion to find out how they actually caught him. They found out, and he got through Freedom of Information. They finally had to cough up the documents that Harris had made this thing called Stingray that could get all the data that they wanted. And of course, no warrants or anything else at all. They just did it. And then lied about it, and then had to let these guys go. I think he had a 12-year sentence and got out in 2 or 3 years. He had some big articles out that he wrote a couple months ago. And, of course, they threatened him even after he got caught out. They were just going to rearrest him and charge him with a bunch of new stuff. And so they called it a draw. And he waited until 2 years later and then wrote a big article a couple months ago about how he actually did the search and basically found all the lies that these guys had told. And they just look the other way, go on. It is problematic to know that your government lies to you routinely. Anyway, tonight we're going to have a Fitbit. Out with earnings after the bell. Not a lot to make out of it out here. Not a lot of volume. This is one of the recent IPOs out here. It hadn't been doing all that well. It's got a high volume, but $12.90. I don't know if you can make anything out or about it, but there's just not a great deal out here that to hang your hat on. It's going to be problematic. We've got a few earnings. I think Home Depot tomorrow night. Let's take a quick look at that. That popped a little out here. But it is problematic to see a lot of these retailers out here with fairly weak moves. I kind of like this one short, but it broke through its confluence range, which means it's probably not a fairly good bet now for earnings. Maybe after earnings, this thing could get back up into that 127 level, which is there's kind of nice gaps out here. But my research into Home Depot shows that they should not be doing that well. So we'll have to see how in earnings they come out. Trip, not doing that much, off about 8% today. A lot of these things did kind of bounce. This one on the 11th with 9.5 million shares caught a lot of people short sleeping. But my guess is you're going to see most of these like this one come back down and fill a lot of that gap, if not all of it. But the question is just how long it takes for a few of these out here to come back and fill that gap. For losers today, IPXL. IPXL. Impacts Laboratories. I don't know much about these guys. Let's take a quick look out here. I trust no one. Somebody in the den asking there. But of course, this show is sponsored by the NSA, the only government agency to truly listen to everyone. A specialty pharmaceutical company develops, manufactures, and markets bioequivalent pharmaceutical. Talk about double speak out there. Let's just say what they mean. Bioequivalent pharmaceutical products. Anyway, global product sales directly to wholesalers. Anyway, they are down. Beat on revenues, but guiding down from a big increase to 15% increase in 2016. This thing went down and blew out its previous February 12th low at $30.18. Had 680,000 shares. We went through that with 3.3. Today kind of spiked it, went back through, but you've got plenty of volume down here on these lows. And I don't know how you can write it any other way than this at best is in a trading range. At worst, it's going to have a little bounce out of here and then go back and test that $30.18 low from February 12th out here. Another stinker out here is SF. And, of course, you can email me at path@tfnn.com or call me at 877-927-6648. Z in the Den says no one listens to me. I listens to him. I say that the NSA does. And, of course, if you really want the best example of no one listening to somebody, Catch-22 is probably one of the best movies of that. If Yossarian just would have wanted to go and fly with Orr, he would have had it all made. But, it's tough. Seifel Financial Corporation, SF. You won't fly with me. I don't know why that is. You've crashed 6 times. Yeah, I know. I'm great at it. SF, Stifel Financial Corporation, down with heavy volume through the lows, kind of back up here. I don't know if you can make a lot about this other than the fact that this is higher out here. To downgraded underperform at Credit Suisse. Let's see if there's anything else here. I think that's it. Some other stocks on my radar that I'm keeping an eye on today is Cisco. This is the company that delivers food, not the router company. Off very hard today. It's headlines of acquiring Bain Capital subsidiary Breaks Group for $3.1 billion. I don't know if that's true or not, or just the reason why it's lower. Try to dig through that during the break. But, down on heavy volume. And of course, if you look, this thing just broke a previous high on very light and going back to December 9th, 2013.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
I didn't see anybody talk about it, so I will bring it up today. We'll look at Cisco here again. But I know a lot of people are big fans of the Big Bang Theory. And if you haven't watched it yet, there is a scene in Big Bang from last Thursday night. And if you look while in there singing karaoke, if you look behind them in the booth behind them, guess who you will find? A former head of the FOMC, Ben Bernanke, a big fan of the Big Bang Theory, was sitting in the booth behind them as they're discussing some of the big issues of the day and getting drunk and singing karaoke in the Thursday night episode. But interesting. What else is we going on out here? I think that's about it right now. I don't see a great deal, anything else going on out here. Wanted to look at IBM from an email. You can email me too at path@tfn. Are you at liberty to reveal the man's name that was arrested by the FBI? Yeah, he wrote a big article. I'll find it and put an email back to those folks, but it's quite telling. Yes, and Bernadette has a bun in the oven. But we knew that from last week, if you watched the very end of it. So that wasn't brand new news, only that she told him this week. Yeah. There's some pictures. If you Google Bernanke and Big Bang Theory, you'll see the pictures of him sitting behind the rest of them. It's kind of funny. With the rabbit. Yeah. Anyway, IBM, it's had kind of a nice little bounce off the bottom out here. I don't think that there's anything that really has changed in IBM's wheelhouse. But at any of these lows, eventually you just get way too heavy of a short interest. Was this down a little bit here. Now, you did have a nice test of the low on lighter volume, which was the January 20th low at 118. It 16 million shares, 7.3 million shares from February 11th. So, you got a test on less than half the volume, you're probably going to get some kind of a bounce out here. Has anything dramatically changed? Is Watson's business really started to come in? I haven't read anything that actually says that so far. So that would be tough. But yeah, it's interesting. You're back up into this gap. And I think that's about all you could hope for at 135 for IBM. But the reason I can't be long in these things is just how intense the energy was off, in this case, the February 5th high back down to this February 11th low. And, it was a lot more than the energy up from January 20th to February 5th. So, you had the gap down, you came back up, you went down on heavier volume. I think eventually the whole thing, if you're watching CNBC at all, you're going to see a bunch of ads for Watson over the last few weeks. I think it could be a fairly decent business. It's just how long it's going to take for them to write software that really targets into a solution for people that want to buy it. Right now, there's just a lot of different computer learning technology that Watson is working with, and it's just real hard to figure out what's going on that. In the meantime, so when you can, not when you have to. Also, catch me tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.
You're watching Tiger TV.